topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Who is January Jones? She is not a young, beautiful, talented actress on Mad Men. She is not an older, gorgeous, exotic dancer from the Johnny Carson Show. She is an author, and she wrote Thou Shalt Not Whine, the 11th Commandment, that reached #1 at Amazon.com. She is a reality TV golf personality with world high-stakes golf televised on HDNet. She is a humorist and winologist expert. She is your featured host today on January Jones Sharing Success Stories. So sit back, relax, and get ready to laugh and listen to Ms. Jones with her eclectic roster of guests as you learn life's lessons. These stories plus sharing equals success. Welcome, and remember, beware, because you are entering the no whining world of January Jones.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a glittery day. I am. You know, I'm January Jones, and I'd like to welcome you to our podcast. I'm so happy to announce that I've just created a new brand, Glitter Granny Gifts, to give or to get. I've become an associate affiliate at Amazon.com in my spare time. And this is for seniors who love to shop. You know, everyone who watches the show knows how I'm into the glitter world with my canes, my hats, my jewelry, you name it, I love it. If it glitters and glows, that's what I'm all about. Right now, along with also I'm sharing this gig with my assistant Golden Doodle Ginger Ale. Remember, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got bling. So be sure to go to glittergranny.com and start shopping with us. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I know I'm having fun doing it. Now for my listeners, let me ask you a question. Are you getting frustrated with the political scene, the things that are happening in the country right now? Do you suspect our founding fathers, they're probably rolling over in their graves right now? You know, are you still proud to be an American? Sometimes it's hard to say that, but I still am. Now, are you ready to meet someone who will share his viewpoint and his take on things with us right now? Tell me, have you ever heard of an amazing book called Erasing America? Broken Politics, Broken Country? If you can answer yes or maybe to any of these questions I've been asking you, then you are in the right place. And I am here to welcome you to January Jones Sharing Senior Success. Now it's time. Rest, relax, go get some cheese, get some crackers, get some wine, get a wine cooler, and join me in the no wine zone with my guest today. Now, let me tell you a little bit about our guest today. I'm very excited to have him. He is an equal opportunity critic, willing to tell us the truth no matter whom it makes uncomfortable. He's a fiscally conservative financial professional and a proud member of the Sons of American Legion. It is my pleasure to welcome to our podcast today, Roger Friedman. Hi, Roger. How you doing?
January, I'm very, very happy to be here, and it's Roger Friedman.
Friedman. Okay, I didn't know on the pronunciation. I should have asked that before we went on the air. Roger Friedman. We were chatting before we went on the air, and it's amazing all the things we have in common. First of all, we're new to California. You're 4 years, I'm 3 years here. We both have lived in Maryland, and you're from New York. Now, tell us a little bit, before we get into discussing your wonderful book, tell us a little bit about your childhood and who your early mentors in life were.
You mean beside Elvis Presley?
Yeah, I loved him too.
Okay, I can do that. So I was born and bred in Manhattan, the youngest of 3 kids. My mom passed away when I was 12. My dad was a Times Square entrepreneur. He took over his parents' laundry right next to the Lyceum Theater at Times Square. And at the time, they had one employee with a washboard. Do you remember what a washboard is?
Yes, I do.
It came after The Rock, okay?
Yeah.
And my dad grew that into a facility with 40 to 45 people working for him. We did dry cleaning and laundry for all these magnificent apartment buildings and condos, the hotel industry, the Broadway shows, hospitals. I drove a truck with laundry in it before I had a driver's license. Don't tell the DMV, please.
Okay.
And I used to deliver by foot to Trump Tower, to all those rich people.
Yeah.
And I decided then that I needed to watch what my dad did very carefully because he was very successful at what he did. And I saw that every night before he went home, he would, write out a list of everything to do tomorrow with A's, B's, and C's next to them.
Yeah.
So he was very productive. He knew what he had to do first, second, and third, and there was no wasted time. So he was very productive. If I had a brain in my head when I was a teenager, I would have said, Dad, I want to take over your laundry. Instead, I went to State University and I studied political science for no damn good reason.
Well, when we were young,
worst 4-year decision I ever made.
Well, when we were young, we all made mistakes.
Yeah. And when I got out of college, I was stunned to discover that there were no ads in the New York Times for political scientists with no experience necessary, starting salary $50,000. I couldn't find a single one.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Well, I ended up as a management trainee at E.F. Hutton.
Oh, okay.
And Hutton became Shearson, became Smith Barney, became Morgan Stanley, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, wow.
So for 43 years, I have been in the industry. I haven't retired yet because I still need something to do. But I was a senior investment management consultant at Smith Barney. I was a senior vice president of wealth management at Morgan Stanley. And I became more and more concerned about the political theater going on in this country. And, I have 2 kids, and I started to ask myself, is this the America I want to leave to my kids?
Okay. We were all asking that.
And the answer was a resounding no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Democrats say the Republicans are fiscally demented. The Republicans say the Democrats want to do away with the First Amendment. It's on and on and on. But I recognized that I was unable to keep my comments to myself.
Okay.
Felt that way, January? So Ron White, whoever he is famous for saying, I know I had the right to remain silent. I didn't have the ability.
Okay.
So every Sunday, about 2 years ago, I wrote a 1-page rant and I sent it to my family and friends.
Okay.
They liked it. And after a while,
Who knew?
The stupidity that I saw in the paper and the media, 1 page was not enough, January.
Okay.
It became around 1,500 words.
Okay.
And the first 47 memos are erasing America.
Oh, wonderful. So you were, without realizing it, you were writing your book.
I had no idea. My sister Diane, God bless her, said, you got the makings of a book.
Oh, wonderful. There it is.
So this is my 7th book.
Okay.
The others are on money and marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, they're all available on Amazon, which I think is the only bookstore left in America. I'm not sure.
I'm sure about that.
Yeah.
All my books are there too.
But about 5 days ago, I finished writing number 85.
Oh.
So I haven't stopped yet. I still have more to say.
Good for you. This is why this is so incredible to share you with my listeners. As you know, I'm talking about senior success. And I wrote my first book when I was 50. So that was 30 years ago. And a lot of people think, oh, I'm too old. I can't do it. And my mantra has always been, if you think it, you can do it. It's that simple. And how old were you when you wrote your first book, Roger?
I think it was around 15 years ago. So it must have been around 53 years old or so.
Oh, wonderful.
I just turned 68.
Good.
And by the way, Jack Canfield, co-creator of Chicken Soup for the Soul. I've met him, a number of times.
Yeah, he's
written about, 18 or 19 books. Where he actually writes about a book a week, I think now, along with Mark Victor Hansen. And I think he's around 75 or 80 now.
Oh yeah, he's up there. He and I we were hanging out 30 years ago.
Yeah, he's not slowing down, and neither am I.
Well, that's good to hear. And I think all of our listeners out there, we want to get you inspired. Yes. And it's so much fun to have you on the show because truthfully, this is not really a political show. It's mostly a show for seniors to share their stories with others. And full disclosure, I'm what you would call a true independent. And in that respect, I have voted for Goldwater. I have voted for Obama. I have gone back and forth. I make my decisions basically on the person.
The character of the person.
I think it's wonderful to get a political slant, and you're the first political guest that I've ever had on the show. This is fabulous.
Well, God's honest truth, I was a political science major.
Yes.
That was around 350 years ago. But, I pushed it to the back of my mind. I've been a finance and a math guy, retirement strategist for almost 40 years. But I see how politics, or better yet, policy, interacts with people trying to build wealth.
Yes.
And I talk to clients all the time and I say, what happens in Washington, the policy somehow leaches into your discussions at the table late at night with your spouse when you wonder how you are going to fill in the blank.
Yes, exactly.
So policy does affect you.
Everything, everyone. This is wonderful because you're not only here, we're going to touch on politics, but what we're going to get after this commercial break, I want to get into what seniors like us can do and some suggestions you have. But first, we're going to hear a little bit more about Glitter Granny.
Welcome to Glitter Granny Gifts to Give or to Get. Hosted by January Jones, aka Glitter Granny, and her Golden Doodle Ginger Ale. If you're a granny who wants to glitter and glow, it's time to join us for a sparkling shopping experience that will be unique and so very special. Whenever you need a unique and spectacular gift, then Granny will help you find it. Along with gifts for family, friends, and holidays, there are even glitter gifts for coworkers, in-laws, doctors, and you can even find something for your friend who has everything. If you need a really good gag gift, you'll find it here. Hats, canes, shoes, accessories. When it comes to glitter accessories, Granny and Ginger Ale are on board with everything you can imagine, and then some more. The favorites are at her website. And remember, she is adding to this list almost every day with lots of fun gifts to give or to get. Granny has created a website that is glamorous and glows with glitter products to wear or to use every day. As she says, if it ain't got bling, it doesn't mean a thing. Now let me tell you about her glitter hat collection. She actually has too many to count. Her collections are must-have accessories for any glitter granny who enjoys getting attention everywhere she goes. Remember, if people are going to stare at you, make it worthwhile for them. And canes? Everyone will ask you, where did you get it? Can I get one too? Now, just go to glittergranny.com and check it out.
Welcome back with our new friend today, Roger Friedman, who I'm so happy to have with us on the show. Roger, everyone is throwing their hands up with everything that's going on in the country these days. I know it's a lot of energies being expended to woo the voters. And let's talk a little bit more about what's happening and if you feel that democracy is under attack, the way things are going these days.
Well, I feel this country is on an unsustainable path, both financially. We won't get into that right now. That's a whole show by itself.
Yes,
but
yes.
More as to who is in charge of selecting our representatives. So, for example, depending on who you want to listen to, 12 million, 14 million, 16 million illegals or more have come into the country. And I've heard Nancy Pelosi on video and Chuck Schumer say they want all those people to be granted citizenship and to be voters. And they will be so happy to gain citizenship that they will vote for the Democrats that gave that wonderful gift to them.
Yeah.
I see that as a extraordinarily scary plan. It's a brilliant plan, mind you. But it's extraordinarily scary, and that is something that could lead to a one-party country where choice is gone. I fear that if the Congress was totally blue, both the Senate and the House. We had a Democrat in the White House, and they would stack the Supreme Court, put on another 8 justices that the new president, would hire. We would forever be a progressive, liberal, democratic society, and we would be broke, and we'd be on our path to socialism.
I think that more than 75% of independents and 54% of Democrats, 95% of Republicans, they feel the country is headed in the wrong direction, just as you're expressing. As a senior, I have been very distressed about the tone, the lack of civility.
There is no civility. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And I can remember, of course, wonderful days with Eisenhower. And I can remember when Kennedy and Nixon were friends. I can remember when politicians would have a debate in the Senate, the House, or for an election, and then they'd go out to lunch or they'd go have a drink together. And I think our generation, I just grieve the loss of civility in our world these days.
Right. I remember I wrote somewhere in the book, I don't know what page, but in Congress, you know how a senator or a congresswoman or a congressman is called on by the speaker or the head of the Senate, and they get their allotted time. Okay.
Yeah.
And, nowadays it's, the chair recognizes that idiot from South Carolina or that ass from Missouri. And that's not how it's supposed to be, January. The respect is gone.
I
Okay.
know.
I want the sergeant at arms in the House to be armed, not with a 45 Magnum, but with a bar of soap. And anytime a congressperson gets out of line,
Oh, yeah.
the sergeant at arms grabs them, pins them against the wall, and washes their mouth out with soap.
I'm all for it. I would vote for that. And the thing that just blows my husband and it just drives us crazy, is you will see in the Congress people just yelling things out and up in the gallery. And it just all has well, of course, since January 6th, the country is kind of reverberating from what happened inside the Capitol, our sacred, beloved Capitol. What a tragedy that day was for.
And I see, I'm from the Lower East Side of Manhattan, and I've seen in New York City movements to remove the statues of Thomas Jefferson and George Washington. In Portland, Oregon, protesters tore down a statue of Abraham Lincoln and Theodore Roosevelt. They tear down statues of Christopher Columbus in Richmond, Virginia, and Democrats demand the removal of the Lincoln Emancipation Memorial in D.C. To me, this is like America is no better than the Taliban.
Yeah, no,
right?
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
You cannot erase history because you don't agree with it.
Mm-hmm. And we've even experienced this thing where books are being banned.
Yes.
In Florida, and oh my gosh, we were appalled to see a book burning taking place in this day and age. These are the things that happened, back when Germany, when that was all happening.
Well, I'm not sure as to the mechanics of everything.
Yeah.
And I might be wrong, I often am. But what I was concerned about was that second and third graders would have pornographic books in the school library, which I think are inappropriate.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, it's not that they're banned, it's that you don't stock those for the children to see. It is not age appropriate.
Right, exactly.
I'm for that kind of regulation.
Yeah.
Because as a parent, that scares the living daylights out of me.
Well, no one wants our grandchildren being exposed to pornography and extreme things. But I mean, we still want everyone to be able to read what they choose and vote for who they choose and issues they feel about. I think it's so important to get this message out that everyone will vote. And unless we use these gifts that we have been given, as you said, they're going to disappear, aren't they?
Yeah, I wrote the book more than anything to get people off of the couch, to get them involved. I moved down to Florida several years ago, and I joined the Sons of the American Legion because I was walking by the Chamber of Commerce one day, and I walked in and I'm looking at the rack of all the little free brochures. And I'm looking at them, and I see Sons of the American Legion. What's that? I've heard of the American Legion. I've heard of Rotary, all those, but I never heard of the Sons of the American Legion. So I looked at the brochure and I see, oh, if you weren't in the military, but your mom or dad was, we are for you. And I'm like, huh. So I actually walked over there because it was 2 blocks down Main Street.
Right.
And I said, what do you guys do here? And I'll never forget what he said.
Wow.
He said, we raise a lot of money so we can give it all away.
Oh my gosh.
I'm in. Where do I sign up?
Yeah,
2 weeks ago at the meeting January, we presented the local representative of Special Olympics with a check for $12,300 just from our post.
Oh, incredible.
Okay? And that kind of thing is normal. Okay. We just give it all away to very, very good organizations that deserve it. men, women, children, charities, veterans, you name it. Okay.
It's so wonderful to share this kind of information to seniors. And you're just what you said, you have to get off the couch, you have to get out, do something. Yes. We have been so fortunate. We're in Sarasota, and we have become members of the DAV, Disabled American Veterans. And they are a fabulous group. My husband is a disabled veteran. And we have met such wonderful people. And you don't meet these kind of people unless you get up and
they're not on your couch.
Yeah, they're not absolutely right. And you know, one of the interesting things I like about this group is everyone's there and they all have obvious different beliefs, religion, politics, you name it. But no one ever gets confronted. They never confront it. No one talks politics. Everyone talks about love.
They're civil to each other.
Exactly. And that is just what our country needs.
But January, you remind me of something. I haven't thought of this in a long time.
Yeah.
Get off your couch. So let me share a secret with you. Do you promise to keep it to yourself?
Well, with a few other friends.
Of course. So back in 1987, I was living on Connecticut Avenue in Washington, D.C. I was working for E.F. Hutton or Shearson, don't remember what it was. And it was about 2 weeks to Christmas time. And there was a Christmas party in my apartment building in the basement club room. And I remember thinking, do I want to get off my butt, off the couch, and actually go to the party? And January, I want you to know, is kind of like, the devil and the angel on my shoulder. Do I want to go? No, I don't want to go. I really couldn't make up my mind. And then I said to myself, I am not going to meet anyone sitting on my couch.
Exactly.
So I took the elevator down 7 floors. I went into the club room and I started to mingle. And I met the person that is my wife of 34 years.
Oh, wow.
I fell head over heels in love with her the moment I met her. And so getting off the couch is very meaningful to me.
Oh, my gosh. That is a wonderful story to share. And we're coming across that. I don't know about you, but we're meeting so many amazing people here in Florida, seniors, and they're every age. They're all out there. Wonderful people are out there waiting for you.
Yes.
And my husband is a veteran, and you can't imagine how many people come up to him and thank him for his service. And I'm not talking just about old people like us. I'm talking about lots of young people acknowledge it. And this is what we need in our country.
You need more acknowledgement of service. You're absolutely correct.
Absolutely. We're going to take a break. And like Roger, I've written a few books too. And this is my latest book.
Introducing Living and Dying Without Whining, a memoir, 80 years of magical moments, written by January Jones. Ms. Jones shares her most exciting and magical moments. Patriotic moments, landing on aircraft carrier USS Carl Vinson, staying overnight, then catapulting off. Revealing moments. Working for the CIA for 5 years. Thrilling and comforting moments. Meeting Charles Lindbergh and Neil Armstrong together. Sassy moments. Swinging 60s and the 70s. The age of Aquarius. Exciting moments as a TV contestant on Joker's Wild and Family Feud. Reality moments. Playing in the World Series of Golf on reality TV. Career moments as a stewardess for Eastern Airlines. touching moments. With meeting a half-brother she never knew about. With many, many more magical moments. Living and dying without whining. A memoir. 80 years of magical moments. Written by January Jones. Available at Amazon.com and Audible.com.
That's a great title for a book.
Welcome back. Well, there's a story in the foreword how I came up with that title. And all of our books are available at Amazon, as you said earlier, probably the only bookstore left in the world.
I've heard of a small one called Barnes & Noble. Don't know if that one's still around.
There's one here, but they're disappearing, sadly. Okay, when we're talking about the suggestions we have for people to get off the couch, anything in particular you would recommend for some of our listeners?
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, I joined the Sons of the American Legion. I also joined 3 Republican clubs. Yes, I'm an anti-rhino conservative Republican. I remember John Lindsay in New York City. But
yeah,
I joined these clubs, because I want to be involved and make a difference. I meet with our elected officials. I met with my congresswoman 2 weeks ago there. She's a real fireball too, Air Force vet. And I give money to the campaigns, and I give of my time, and I meet people, and I ask questions, and I raise my hand. In other words, I become involved in the political process. And every 2 weeks, when I write my Equal Opportunity Times, and yes, you'll get a free subscription, I make sure and put down, make sure and vote in November.
Yes.
Okay? Because something that distressed me a while ago. So earlier this year, I met someone in their 80s. And somehow, January, I don't know how it happened. Somehow we got to talking about politics. Go figure.
Yeah.
And the fellow said, I wouldn't vote for either of them, meaning Trump or Biden at the time. I've heard that. Okay. And then he said something that chilled me to my bones. He said, in fact, I've never voted. My world stopped.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the Twilight Zone or the Outer Limits. And I said, help me to say that again. He said, I've never registered to vote. A lot of things were going through my mind at that time.
I know.
I cannot say on a PG-rated podcast.
Go ahead.
So I wanted to exit the room as quickly as possible so that I could put my hand through a wall while nobody saw.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. That was, I think, basically the whole country breathed a sigh of relief when Biden stepped aside. And I know it took a lot of doing to do that. I have a particularly soft spot for Joe Biden. And I share this in my story in the book because my husband was needing medicine. He has a heart condition, and the medicine was $20,000 a month.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And it was, the VA was trying to help him, but they could only get him 20 milligrams, and he needed he needs, and he still does need 80 milligrams a day. So I just got on my computer and I sent an email to Joe Biden. 3 days later, the VA called us and said the medication is being delivered to your home today. And
how long ago was this?
This was about almost a year ago. Yeah, a year ago. And the president, it was from the president. And my husband was adorable because he said, Does the VA have a president? And I said, no, but our country does.
You spoke to the president of Sarasota. I get it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And, that's just a lovely story about how things can work in this country and how people can reach out to help others. Of course, it helps sending an email with the name January Jones. I know that does affect some things in life. But it's still important. And I'm saying this, I don't care what party you're at. And this thing, you have to vote and you have to contribute to what's happening to our democracy.
Yeah. And, I look at it this way. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican, the number one issue before us, even before the economy, is immigration. Or illegal immigration, more accurately. And that is the number one priority of whoever the new president turns out to be. And if someone says, well, my number one priority is abortion, or my number one priority is after school centers or nursery school, I understand what you're saying, but I think your priorities are a little messed up, because if we don't stem the control at the border, the cartels are going to take over the entire southern United States.
Wow. Yeah.
And they have drones and helicopters and bazookas and everything else. That's very, very scary.
Oh, yeah. And, being a feminist and women, you mentioned abortion, and boy, that is a hot issue these days.
It is a very, very hot issue, and I'm going to say it's in the top 5 respectfully.
Oh, okay. Absolutely.
Okay, because inflation is killing people, and a majority, over 51% of the country, is living paycheck to paycheck.
And I think from what I'm hearing, most Americans pretty much all feel one way about this abortion issue, don't they?
Oh, yeah. There are very, very strong pro and cons, and I understand it, and I'm not smart enough to provide you an answer. I never got the memo, okay? But what I can say is this a federal issue, or is this the states determining their own destiny? I don't know the answer.
Well, I think it's an everyone issue. I think it's the entire country, old folks like us and young folks coming up. I am obviously, I've been a feminist all my life. And I have to say that I am enchanted or intrigued, I think that's a better word, about us actually having a woman run again. Now, I remember Geraldine Ferrero. And
I was just talking about her yesterday.
I know. And she was incredible.
She was a firecracker.
And that happened. And then every other country in the world you've got.
Did she hitch her wagon to Mondale, I think it was?
Yeah.
Right person, wrong wagon.
Oh, yeah. And, I am excited. I feel that we should have had, quite frankly, a woman president long ago. And I'm not talking Democrat, Republican. I'm just talking a woman. I think we ought to get women in the Congress, in the Senate, and hopefully someday in the White House. I think this country, that's what this country needs.
Well, if Great Britain was able to elect the Iron Maiden, why not America? I just don't like the current candidate.
Oh, well, that's everyone's, you have your own opinion. But there's one thing I wanted to share with you today before we go off the air. We saw the most incredible movie this last week, and it was called Reagan. And
I want to see that.
Oh, we saw it at one of the local theaters. We saw it the day it came out. Well, we from California, and his library was around the corner for where we lived for 40 years. And wow, talk about civility, talk about class, I just hope the young people in this country will take the time to go see this movie. And also, if you ever been to his museum, it's incredible. It's amazing.
Well, last year I went to the Ronald Reagan Day boots and jeans soiree. It happens every year near Tampa Bay. I won't be able to go to the one in October. I'll be recuperating from some surgery.
Yeah.
But I remember I took pictures with my Congress people there. I met a whole bunch of wonderful people, and it was thrilling. It was absolutely thrilling. And we all got to wear cowboy boots.
Oh, yeah, that's fun. Well, we're from that part of California, Simi Valley, Westlake Village, and we have such wonderful.
I like your Cabernet. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I like Simi.
Well, and the other thing that was so incredible about the movie, it showed the joy of politics. It showed people who loved what they were doing. It showed positivity. And that's what I want to see more of. And I want to see people enjoying politics, having fun, connecting to other people. I'm so tired of all the negativity going on.
Well, if you look at the media and see how they describe the interactions, this congressperson blasted, shredded, yelled, threw flames. I mean, the adjectives that are used, why not discuss, consider, things of that nature. But why you need to shred somebody? Have you ever seen anyone shredded? I haven't.
No, and I never want to.
I never want to.
I think you're right. You're absolutely right. It's horrible. And the negativity they spew is just contagious. Yes. And then they top each other. One comes there, and back and forth, and it's got to stop. It just is.
And the media is complicit in this.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether it's Fox or Newsweek, The Times, MSNBC, CNN, they're all involved to one extent or another.
Oh, of course, because controversy creates viewership.
Yeah, eyeballs. Yes.
Yeah. That's what they're all looking for, and they're getting it.
Yeah, advertising revenue from eyeballs.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know. I think it's just a shame that the country has gotten into this situation. I'm hoping. It does seem I'm partial to this football coach. My husband was a high school tennis coach. In his spare time, he flew for United, but on his days off, he coached the girls' tennis team.
Right.
And, that's the kind of people we want to see out there, running for office, doing things.
Well, yours is a dominant voice. You need to stay out there, out front, as do I.
Yes, I know. I'm trying hard. Yeah, I am trying to share my feelings. And I hope I'm not being partisan, because my message is not partisan. I really have a message that I just want to see our country, they talk about going back. Well, I'd be happy to go back to the Reagan era.
To a rational path.
Oh, yeah.
It was rational policy. Yes.
Yeah, it was an incredible time to be alive. You and I are so lucky that we have grown up with amazing politicians on both sides.
Yes.
People who all they want to do is serve the country.
Serve, yes.
Yeah, and it's exactly what you're dealing with the veterans. All the veterans serve the country.
And these are people that serve without having gold bars in their closet and $500,000 in their socks and their raincoat. Yes.
Yeah. And, that's our plea. If any young people are listening.
And serve for the right reasons.
Yeah. And I'm happy to say this show goes right out on YouTube after we're done. It'll be there within 30 minutes. And our message isn't just for seniors. We celebrate seniors here, but our message is for our grandchildren, our children. And I just have loved so much having you here. And you're working on your next book now?
Well, I'm trying not to. So Erasing America is memos, Sunday memos number 1 through 47.
Okay.
I just completed number 85.
Okay.
I send them out twice a month. Do I have enough for another book? Yes, I do.
I bet.
But there may be some real editing needed on November 6th.
That's interesting. I did 2 books called Priceless Personalities, and I shared in each book 10 people who have been on this show, people whose stories were incredible, amazing people just like you. And we're having to close out, but I always ask this question, Roger. If you could have dinner with one person living or beyond, and just not me, you can't choose me, who would you choose to have dinner with?
That's easy. Ayn Rand.
Oh, wonderful.
Or as people say, Anne Rand.
Yeah, it's a wonderful choice. Oh.
I read Atlas Shrugged every December for the last 23 years.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's in my bones. They are my friends. And I look forward to visiting with them on December 1st again.
Oh, you're the first one to say her name. And I'd love to be a little fly in the corner. I'd love to be watching.
Would I love that dinner.
That is so wonderful.
I want to thank you so much for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Good. And, as we get closer, this countdown to this election, I think we'll get to have you back, because I think it's just, we're both giving a positive message.
Post-election, it should be very interesting. And by the way, my sister's going to love Granny Glitter Everything. She's in Fort Pierce. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, wow. That's wonderful.
Right.
Yeah.
Right around the corner from the Navy SEAL Museum.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm going to have you back for sure. And my 80-year-old quote for the day, my attempt at humor. Remember, fortune is like glass. The brighter the glitter, the more easily it's broken. Thank you for visiting with us. Be sure to glitter and glow until we meet again. And thank you for coming into the no wine zone. And this Roger, he's no whiner, because guess what? He's a winner.
Thank you, January.
So don't be a grouch. Don't ever let anyone dim your sparkle. Take care and stay safe until we meet again. Bye-bye.
We want to thank you for listening to January Jones Sharing Success Stories. Always remember Ms. Jones' personal mantra: if you can think it, you can do it. That's what all of our guests have done with their lives, and so can you. You are the ultimate success coach in your own life. All you need to do will be to start sharing your own story with your family and friends. We hope that our guest stories will encourage you to explore an equation in your future that will combine your creativity plus connecting with others will enable you to be successful too. Always remember, your passion plus your purpose will equal prosperity as you explore the wonderful world of January Jones.